Good morning once again and welcome to the program. Today we turn our focus to the state of party politics in Nigeria and the future of one of the country's oldest political parties, that's the People's Democratic Party. After years of internal wrangling, defection, leadership tussle and electoral setbacks, many Nigerians are asking a simple but important question. Is there still hope for the People's Democratic Party? On this morning, my guest who will be speaking to us about some of these issues bordering our political parties, or the PDP rather, is known but Honorable Muhammad YAHAYA, popularly known or called as SIYASAR. Now, SIYASAR is a journalist, he's a consultant, a public relations, and also he is a politician. So good morning, Muhammad YAHAYA.
Good morning,
and welcome. It's nice having you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so talking about the issues in People's Democratic Party, let's begin with the big picture. When you look at the People's Democratic Party today, what do you think is the single largest factor behind its repeated internal crisis?
Yeah, but today the PDP has no future if you look at it today. But normally in the life of every...
Are you there? All right, I think we lost that. So we lost him, and when we have him, we would continue again. Yes, I'm talking about the People's Democratic Party. PDP is not a new party in Nigeria. It's one of the oldest in the country. People's Democratic Party is the oldest party, and it has been producing governors and senators, presidents in many years ago. So talking about the People's Democratic Party, you know, yes, it's a very, very big party. Hello, are you there? Can you hear me now? All right, I think we are still unable to hear him due to network issues. So in case you're just tuning in case you're just joining us, this is our Global Morning, our weekend edition. Today is Sunday the 23rd of November 2025. Hello, say Baba. All right, we are still unable to hear him. And in case, hello?
I can hear you clearly.
All right, welcome back. Nice having you back.
Thank you.
So should I still repeat the first question?
As it looks like today, the PDP doesn't have a future, except it can transmute itself and then enter into alliances and association with other political groups and movements. But for now, what they have is the same old men doing the same old thing they are used to doing, except the same strategy. Otherwise, I don't see them having any political future.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Almost 2 years after the 2023 election, is the PDP truly repositioning, or is it still battling identity and leadership issues?
No, I don't think they have issues of identity, but they have issues of leadership. The PDP is recognizable everywhere you go. It is the normal, the umbrella, the colors are red, the white, and is it green or so. So the identity issue is not a problem. The problem is lack of integrity by the leaders, lack of integrity by the decisions they make. The PDP, as it were, should, in fact, I'm surprised that there are institutions which are expected to groom leadership succession is not doing anything. But then also, they have not been, most of the old men there have been unable to put themselves together and bring young people to lead the party. At least what the PDP needs is a new, fresh energy. Not for instance, you see, the Tani Mutrakis are still the chairman, the Sule Lamidul has been there, he still wants to be the chairman of the party. You don't see new young people coming up on the block. unlike other new parties we see, and you could also see that a part of PDP have just broken away, and most of them are going into other political parties. Some of them are going to the APC. Most of the started with about 13 governors. Only 3 are left now. So you can see there is the problem of lack of leadership. But as for identity, I don't think the identity of PDP is anything. It's not a problem. The umbrella is recognizable. Their colors are recognizable.
All right. Moving on to the next question, talking about leadership, public perception. When you interact with ordinary Nigerians, do they still see the People's Democratic Party as credible alternative party?
No way. The 16 years, you see, there is this problem of perception. The 16 years the PDP spent, yes, we agree that they took over from the military. But then, if you compare the 16 years that they have done, you also see that while they made some progresses, but the progress was too slow. They should have done better. The PDP should have deepened democracy. By now, we wouldn't have to get the judicial intervention in most of the issues. Political issues should be settled politically, not until they have to approach courts to settle issues. Okay, if like Sule Lamido that is contesting the leadership and has been in court, is a founding member, is a member of the BOT. I think he is one of the signatories to the PDP registration. So, and today he is battling with the young people who just came on board. So you can see clearly the PDP has no clear-cut system on how to leadership succession. At every point in time, there is one crisis or the other. When Obasanjo was there, he removed the leadership at will, and then he brought people he wants. And the same thing is happening now. So a system do not grow like that. The system should be able to set up a mechanism where people who will go to the next level at the point they know themselves. If you have contributed enough, you should. But here we have people are just brought in, not competent, not having anything to deliver. You don't expect a system to grow in that way. A system grows when you bring in competent people. And one thing I have always advocated of recent is the issues of zoning. They should stop zoning position, rather they should focus on bringing competent people that will deliver. I made an example of George W. Bush. When he was president, his younger brother was a governor. So you don't look at who is doing what or where the person is from, or rather you should begin to look at the competence, the delivery. Nigerians need strong democratic institutions that will build the society, freedom. You can see up till now some of the governors don't even know the difference between their constitutional powers and an outreach, because most of them are bending over backward to do all manner of things. So I think there is a serious issue of perception. In fact, a lot of people are complaining over the way our democracy is being run. And in most cases, this is because the PDP is there, which is expected to be an opposition, is not doing the real work it's supposed to do. They are busy made in all manner of controversy from sharing. And most of it is greed, selfish greed. Not even anything about development.
All right. Talking about court cases or courts, you made mention of court something. I don't want to misunderstand you there. Then image and rebuilding. All right. If you are to advise the People's Democratic Party on its public image, what is the first thing you would tell them to fix?
No, I would not advise them, because they know the right thing to do. They should just eschew selfishness. Most of the leaders are greedy, and this is causing most of the leadership people in leadership position are just showing excessive greed. They have gotten more than enough. They have what they have kept for their children, their grandchildren. They still want to continue to have gaga and mass things that you don't need to do, especially in the northern region, where you are expected to see industries coming up. The industries are dead. You can see that young people climb on trailers to travel down south. There's no plan, there's no development plan, no action. And the present Tinubu government in the past 2 years has given most of these states over close to 3 trillion. 3 trillion naira shared among about 19 other states. And what can you show for it? Nothing. So they must reduce. In fact, not even the PDP leaders alone. Leaders and the allies must reduce greed, because What we have now is a situation where you have to provide everything for yourself. You provide water, electricity, security, and everything. But think about providing for the community, and everybody will be in peace. So the PDP must sit up. The leadership of the PDP must eschew bitterness. They must reduce selfishness. There is nothing you need to advise them. These are people who have benefited from the largest of the former northern region, most of them. So people who have benefited from the Awolowo time, they have benefited from the Nnamdi Azikiwe time.
All right.
They have benefited from the magnanimity and leadership, good leadership of Azikiwe, Awolowo, and Sardauna. So they should be able to provide this leadership. You don't need to advise them on anything. They know what to do.
All right. Electoral.
They know what to do.
All right. Moving on to our next question, talking about they do what to do. Electoral decline. The People's Democratic Party has lost control over several major seats and continues to lose ground. Has the party become complacent?
Hello, I missed that question. Please, can I repeat that question?
I said, let's talk about the electoral decline. The People's Democratic Party has lost control over several major states, all right, and continues to lose ground. Has the party become complacent?
Sorry?
Has the party become complacent?
You're breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I said, let's talk about electoral decline. The People's Democratic Party has lost control over several states and continues to lose ground. Has the party become complacent?
You're still breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're breaking.
All right. Can you hear me now? So I can repeat the question.
Yeah, throw the question. I'm listening.
All right. I said, let's talk about electoral decline. All right.
What?
Hello? Are you there? Electoral decline. All right, I think we'll still try and get him back so that he would continue talking to us and this morning about the political issues. All right, I said, let's talk about electoral decline. The People's Democratic Party has lost control over several major states and continues to lose ground. Has the party become complacent?
Yeah, the party, it's not only complacent, the party has become a bull in a China shop. Because if the party itself cannot be able to rein in its members, it cannot instill the discipline that is required. You see, the issues of PDP are such that, I don't know how they go about these things. They just, most of the people in leadership position are just there, no ethics, no principle, nothing. They just happen on leadership position and they just do the things they want and nobody is saying no, don't do it. So when the election comes, they just throw in all some manner of candidates. If they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. And one of the major problems with the PDP that I noticed is this self-aggrandizement where people are just, nobody cares about winning election. Most of the candidates have to even sponsor themselves. The party are not doing much, even paying for agents. After people buy forms, people have paid all manners of fees. Yes, when election comes, the party will not be able to even pay agents. So who does that? Who does that? When you are a member of a society or a member of an association, it is expected that the association should be able to protect its members, especially when issues comes. But okay, now some of them will have to, at the end of election, they go to court. The candidates also have to fit the bills themselves. When the monies they have gathered there are being squandered, are being wasted by the executives and nothing to show for it. You expect that PDP has run Nigeria for 16 years. There are so many institutional structures that PDP should be able to. PDP by now should have ventured into several other economic aspects, especially like owning radio stations, like owning television stations, like owning banks and so many other institutions that will also ground, that will make the PDP an institution of itself by now. But what do you have? They are still living even in a rented headquarters. Even their national headquarters, they are unable to build. So it tells a lot about the kind of people that have been leaders. In fact, the decline of PDP was, the massive decline of PDP was the emergence of the man who just left, who they said, the factional Damagu. He's one of the persons who destroyed PDP. So yes, they are on decline, and there's nothing they can do about it because Nigerians cannot wait for them to finish fighting and slapping each other before they can develop. So Nigerians are looking towards other people, looking at APC, looking at other emerging movements and so on. So they are declining seriously.
All right, let's talk about internal sabotage. Internal sabotage. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
All right. Critics often say the People's Democratic Party's biggest problem is not the All Progressives Congress, that's the APC, but the PDP itself. Do you agree with that assessment?
There are two faces to it. You see, it is normal that your opponent will not allow you to rest. But when you create your own problem, there is a saying in Hausa language that says, if a wall does not crack, the lizard will not have a way to enter the wall. So there is always a problem from the inside, and this is because most of their leadership positions emerge through favoritism, through all manner of quota system, all manner, not competence. If a man knows his onions, he knows what he's doing, he knows that what he is there for, he should be able to stand his ground on several issues. But when you bring people through favoritism, okay, you are a boss here, you are a juggernaut here, bring somebody, put him, whether he's qualified or not, it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, the person goes here and messes up the whole system. So one person can mess up a working system. Okay, if you, for instance, you see, and one person can fix a system. So you have to look at the antecedents of people you are giving leadership. Yes, internal sabotage is there, but who caused it? There's supposed to be a proper screening process, proper references to records, proper antecedent checks. So before you allow people to emerge as your leaders, but when you don't throw in any manner of person to come and lead your party, that is what happens. The person doesn't know your principle, he doesn't know your core mission, he doesn't know where you are heading, he's just there and then he does anything and that's it. So yes, internal sabotage is there, but then it is a case of violent fitna injuria. To whom is willing, no harm is done.
All right, let's take a look at defections and internal collapse. Some high-profile members have defected or threatened to defect. Is the party collapsing from within?
So personally, I do not see, there's what we call Babariga. I do not see Babariga changing ships as any issue. You see, the issue is Nigerians. When Nigerians decided they wanted to change PDP, how many governors did PDP have then? Over 20-something. And the masses decided they want to change it. So I do not see people, the quote and unquote, the big guys, changing position from one party to any other. If the core message, what matters a lot is that people are delivering. When people are able to trust you, it doesn't matter if you have the biggest names or the small. Because like a football match, you can bring in young people who are highly talented with energy and they will be able to defeat any team, any big team. It doesn't matter. It's just you that is looking at names. There are big names that you know that cannot deliver their polling units today. They are in all the parties, not only in PDP. There are big names. You see them playing national politics. They're talking here and there. They have the big platforms, the media because of wanting to have the big news. They bring in all these big names as their guests to talk. But when it gets to the issue of delivering polling units, there are the main people doing it there. So you should target your attention on the core people, on the Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians who are not doing much of the talking on the media. So it doesn't matter where one. Like for instance, some of these governors you are seeing, they are not in control of their states. That's just the truth. Some of them have lost touch with what is happening in most of their states. So the fact that one governor decides to go somewhere it might not change anything. You were here in 2023 when NNPP took over Kano. Everybody who was somebody in Kano was almost in APC. And what happened? So you stop looking at Babariga, stop looking at the guys with the big cars and the big names and the big. Focus your attention on the Nigerian people. Even though I know that PDP is structurally very weak, but even APC itself should be worried about what Nigerians are thinking too. And I expect that everybody should sit up. The APC, the PDP, the ADC, all political parties should sit up so that there will be development.
All right. Let's talk about uneven national voice. Recently, the party has struggled to speak with one voice on national issues. What does this say about the strength of its national leadership?
The PDP?
Yes, the PDP.
Yeah, because they are not organized, they are sharply divided. They have been unable to rein in their members, so it is expected when a family is at crisis, everybody will be talking from any side of the mouth. So, but I expect that the governors, especially, who because of the resources and some of the powers they have, should be able to lobby each other to come together, and I don't see PDP being able to fight it out with APC at any national election, except they are able to join into either a merger or an association or an alliance. But I don't see them ready for any national election. So if you're structurally weak like that, there's hardly anything you say that will make resonate with the people. Especially whatever PDP will say today, people will also say it happened during their time. So it might not be taken seriously. But if they can come together and then have kind of a blend of more and more people. You know, alliance normally, even the APC itself had to form alliance, the CPC, the ANPP, and then the ACN before they were able to wrestle power. So I think what is best for any opposition now is to go and form alliance with other movements and other political parties so that they can come up stronger. If not, I don't see them making any impact. As for Senate reps, they could be able to be lucky and win some of the positions, but currently PDP is not wired to make any impact at the national level.
All right, talking about that, can you please just give us an in-depth about the factions, both factions, the Damagun faction, the Turakis faction, and every other factions there?
No, I think the Damagun faction has melted into the name of Turaki, because the Damagun thing I was in I think they are the ones that did the convention. So the Damagun doesn't have any faction again. It should now be Balak Aurawi is also on the side of Makinde and the name of Turaki, who is now this. Then there's the faction belonging to Yeson Wike, which I think they will also not be doing themselves any tangible except for maybe the normal political tussle and then the influences Wiki might be able to push around. But I don't see them having any much this thing. But the fact that Damagun was frolicking with Wiki in the past shows that it's about interest. It's about interest. If not, someone who has been appointed into a government without a fiat or an approval from the party, normally necessary action should have been taken long ago. But the fact that Damagun was hand in glove with Wike tells you a lot. So what has changed? What has brought about them going separate ways now? So these are the issues you should be asking. And I don't see Wike group holding on for too long, because it seems as though the Wike group cannot in any way say they want to field candidate. You cannot be a minister in current APC government and then say you want to field a presidential candidate against your appointer. So in another party, so a Wike group might likely end up in the APC, which is already what most of them are doing. I don't even see Wike in any way working with PDP. So if that happens, I think the Damagun group or the Tanimu Trachio group should take over the PDP, and then let's see how far they can go with it. Even though I don't see them doing a lot without forming any alliance. So, but we hope to see. We are watching, and then we are Nigerians. Anything can happen.
All right, and don't you think they will go to court, either of the factions?
Yeah, the faction. I think there are multiple cases in the courts already. Meanwhile, the court in Abuja, I think, said there should be no convention in Ibadan. Another court in Ibadan said the convention must hold. But they are courts of coordinate jurisdiction. So, and where there are decisions of courts of coordinate jurisdiction, normally the latter decisions take its way. That's what the law says. But we hope to see what the appeals will come out with, because normally after you leave the high courts, cases are expected to go to the Court of Appeal. But in my own thinking, I think each party should be focused on itself. Each party has its own challenges. Each party has its own problems. Then, for Nigerians also have their own problem, which is a lot has to do with insecurity, economy, job, industries, and so on and so forth. So I think each party should focus on fixing themselves. Then government should also focus on helping Nigerians get out of poverty.
All right, talking about economic hardship, talking about poverty. All right, given the current the economic moment misuse, given the current economic hardships and rising public frustration, all right, why hasn't the People's Democratic Party been able to galvanize Nigerians and take advantage of these moments politically?
Because have you had any PDP governor complaining of funds? No PDP governor has ever come out to complain that he has not gotten his allocation. States that were getting 9 billion, 10 billion, 20, 15 billion, today some states are getting as much as 30 billion naira in state and local government allocation. They are getting grants. There's enough money. There are governors that have come out publicly that we have money. So most of the problem are with the subnationals. And I made a simple analysis. I said, okay, for 19 other states, if they chose to contribute to 2 billion naira monthly, in a year they have over 500 billion. That is enough to revive most of the industries that are moribund in the north. But the problem is that most of these governors are operating on another space, and there's no coordination on their part. So the monies are there for them, but they are not really doing what is. Most of them lack vision. That's just the truth. And in any case, have you heard any PDP governor complaining that he doesn't have money? So they can't complain because the monies are there. No state has been excluded from the national cake. No, none. They have money, they have resources. Let them be able to develop their societies, but they are not doing anything. You see, some of the issues of insecurity has more to do with unemployment, joblessness. A lot of young people don't have jobs to do, and these resources are coming. The resources keep coming monthly. I'm telling you, most of these states have made over 900 to 1 trillion naira in just 2 months, in just 2 years, that they have been there since 2023. But ask them, where are the impacts? Then again, federal government on its own are doing a lot, especially in the issue with regard to NEL fund, this Nigeria Education Fund. Young people can now go to school through assessing funds from. These are the challenges that families have. School fees, they can now credit card. People can now access credit from the credit card. So these are the challenges. Now the major challenge, especially in the northern Nigeria, I make cases of northern Nigeria because I live mostly here now. I stayed in Owerri in the past, I stayed in Lagos and a few other southern states, but most of my time now is northern Nigeria, and I see what is happening. Young people don't have jobs. There are a lot of young people who don't have jobs, no skills, no education. And some of these, there are states where they say 90% of the educational facilities are dilapidated. What are these things doing? When resources come, prioritize, focus on the quick wins so that you can be able to. There are companies in Kano, there are companies in Kaduna, there are factories in Maiduguri, there are factories in Bauchi. There are so many, Kaduna, Abuja Road, how many factories do you see there? How many are functioning? So we should be able to revive some of these things so that it will reduce the tension of the job, the indices on the unemployment, so that people can be able to start a new level of life.
All right.
So the issues of economy is mostly has to do. They are all the same in most of the governors, except one or two or three that are really focused. But some of them are just competing in buying vehicles and buying some frivolous things.
All right, Muhammad Yahaya, let's talk about court rulings and state crisis. All right. Several state chapters of the People's Democratic Party are facing court battles over leadership How can the People's Democratic Party restore internal stability before the next election cycle?
Yeah, it's to be fair and just to its members. Even in the family where there is no justice, there's no fairness, there's no openness, you find that there will be series of agitation and some might end up in court. Yes, there are some people that will normally go for frivolous cases, but on the face value, in some cases where people sit down, just decide on what they want to do, they cannot justify their actions. So people go to court. Be fair. Call all your members, sit down with them, explain why you are taking certain actions, so that you will be able to put them on the notice and let it be fair, let it be open. But you come out, you sit down, you break your own rules. That's why the courts have always decided that internal party issues are the discretion of the parties. But that does not give the parties the latitude to misbehave, to treat their members anyhow. And this is why litigations will continue. But when you look at your rules, follow your own rules. There was an incident that happened in some of the party, in some of the branches of the party at the subnational levels, where one person will sit down and hold the whole party to ransom. So you don't do that. The rules are there. The constitution of the party is there. The party was registered under some of these statutes, some of these laws. Why not just follow it? Simple and ABCDU. Nobody can be in power forever. At a point, you have to go. So do your best to improve on situations that you meet on ground. But not for you to just break the rules, decide to do what you want because you want to consolidate, or you want to bring your son, or you want to bring your brother, or you want to bring somebody that you think will be favorable to you. How long will you be there? People that have been there 16 years, where are they now? If I ask you, governors between 1999 to 2007, you can't remember most of them today. So you must, power is transient, so you must go. So what is left is your legacy. So I think they should go back to their rules, the constitution, and then some of their traditional ways of doing things. Let them go back and, in fact, return the party to the people. The people should make the party work. If you are there deciding you want to bring your brother as a governor, you want to bring your brother as a rep or as an ESCO, that is when you begin to have all manner of complaints and acrimony. And if you cannot settle it, it will end up in litigations.
All right, let's talk about realignment and the 2027 with political realignment already happening ahead of 2027. Do you think this will weaken the People's Democratic Party further or provide an opportunity for rebirth?
Yes, whatever might be left of the PDP after all their greedy and selfish fights, whatever might be left of PDP can only have a future if they form an alliance. But standing alone, I don't think they will be able to do anything tangible. So I expect to see them talking with all shades of Nigerians, all faces, all tribes, all religions, all orientations. So I expect to see them forming alliance, yeah. But I also expect to see them returning back to if they want to grow, they're returning back to their traditional overload of power to the people, which is one of their things from them, not power. Because when they got intoxicated with power, they began to shout power instead of the same power to the people. So I expect them to return the party to the people if they want to grow. Yes, definitely at a point in everybody's life, yes, you stop a little and then you reflect back on how far you have done. But honestly, PDP is declining. And for it to now stop the decline and begin to incline, that's to build up, it requires strategy, it requires a lot of thinking, it requires a lot of lobbying. Because currently, even the founding members are not happy. So you can see, they must form alliance, they must enter into agreements, they must go into association with all manner of people.
All right, talking about all manners of people, from your own perspective or your own state where you are, how powerful is the People's Democratic Party?
For the People's Democratic Party in Niger is not so powerful, but I believe the voices of reason are powerful. So if the PDP can align with voices of reason, then they can be able to have some inroads. What I mean is that there are voices of reason across all the divides. There are voices of reason in PDP, there are voices of reason in APC, There are voices of reason in SDP. Then there are voices of reason who are apolitical, they are neutral, but they think some of the things should be done this way and not the way it is being done. So it is left for the PDP now to look at and aggregate those voices of reason and see how they can be able to build on it and then use it as a gain for themselves. And if they do not, and the APC decides, okay, let's look at what we are doing, let us be able to aggregate the voices of reason and use it to our advantage. So that is their cup of tea. But there are voices of reason that the PDP should be able to benefit from. But the way PDP is in Niger as it is today, I don't think they can be able to do any tangible thing, inroad in any election. But I know that there are voices of reason who are political, there are voices of reason in all the political parties who do not necessarily agree with everything that is happening. Not because they are not people in power, but because they feel things can be done this way and in a more better way than the way it is being done now. So if they listen to the voices of reason, I think it will help them a lot.
All right, talking about Nigerians, say People's Democratic Party only becomes active close to elections. Is the party truly ready for long-term rebuilding or just waiting for power to slip back by chance?
I don't see them having any vision. Anybody with vision will not waste his time fighting, slapping each other and doing what they are doing. I expect to see them sitting down, trying to lobby. Yes, some punitive actions must be taken against recalcitrant members, especially those ones who are not willing to fall into line. But then also, this is politics. And in politics, 1 + 1 is not equal to 2. You have to meander so that you don't go about in this process of looking for more weight, you go about slimming down. So you have to know what you are doing, because most of the party members, even the ones now that are expelling others, have also done most of the things they are accusing their members of doing. Some of them have also even did more worse things than what some of them are doing. So it's a case of, I expect them to draw a line. Anybody that is not willing to change after the line should now be made to face punishment. Even just like what happened in South Africa after the elections, they did a Truth and Reconciliation Committee and they drew a line and then began to move forward. Rwanda, what happened after the genocide? They drew the line because if you allow yourself to fall into crisis before you now draw a line, it will take you more time to rebuild. But when you see the signs, you just decide, okay, come on, let's talk. Discuss these things. These are the issues. These are the things we have been doing. All of us have been doing wrong without necessarily pointing fingers. But let's draw the line now. Let's change for the better. Then let us, after today, anybody that does social things should be able, and anybody that wants to move away from the party should move. But you cannot be in and then be undermining the party. Even as I talk to you a lot, some of them are undermining themselves even within the party. It's just something else. You just have to be there to know what is happening.
All right, let's take a quick look at the factions we spoke about earlier, the internal factions. All right, internal factions continue to fight despite repeated committees. Why is the People's Democratic Party?
Let me make something clear.
All right.
They formed the Saraki committee, and even that Saraki committee has its own interests. I don't have a single iota of confidence in the Saraki committee. They cannot achieve anything. He has been there before, and at the end of the day, where are the reports? What did he submit? So you can see. Is it not the same Saraki committee that you were seeing? The person, Saraki committee that is supposed to lead, did you see Saraki and Wiki cooking in one of his kitchens? So what do you expect from that committee? The committee is just delaying the DD. Instead of the committee to do its work, they are playing politics. So I don't expect anything from the Saraki committee. He has been there before, and the things they did, they are there in the open. So what do you expect? There was a time that in Niger State, the Saraki committee kept meeting for almost more than 12 months, and he could not achieve anything until they have to now bypass the committee and continue their distance. So the Saraki committee, you don't expect anything to come out of it.
But why is the People's Democratic Party unable to enforce discipline?
Yes, because the leadership is indiscipline. It's simple. When you have an indisciplined leader, you have indiscipline across board. Because the leadership cannot have the moral right to discipline people when you are doing the same thing you are accusing others of doing. I just told you that in the past, you see that the actions that should be taken in the first day, you didn't take it. You allowed the actions to grow to a higher level. And then all of a sudden, you now want to listen. Okay, the Bala Mohammed, the Sheyi Makinde and Wike, were they not the same people who were doing, most of them were doing G5, G, Autumn and Co. Were they not the same people? So what has caused their fight now? Interest. So all of them are guilty of what they are accusing each other of doing. So just the leadership is in display. That's just it. So, but except and until, just like I rightly told you in the beginning, I said they should draw a line, tell everybody, okay, let's repent. Until PDP repents, let them get some clergy or men of God to come and baptize them. Let them repent. They confess their sins. Then they will now be able to move forward. If not, they are weighed down by excess luggage. And nobody will take them serious if they continue the way they are going.
So why is the People's Democratic Party unable to enforce discipline?
Yes, because they are indisciplined. The leadership is indisciplined. I just told you that. Right. The leadership is indisciplined. They don't have no core values. Nobody is coming with any tangible vision. Nobody is coming.
Are you there?
Nobody is coming with any. They are not coming with any tangible vision. By now, I expect to see the practice faction reeling out visions. Even though I listened to an interview by Sheyi Makinde when he was asked about Wiki, and his reply was something. I love the way he gave that reply, that they don't discuss people, they discuss issues. That was good. If he had done that long before now, I think he might have raised the party. But who do you think would trust Sheyi Makinde himself now, when he was the one that was dancing Yendebe in the past, just about 2 years ago, together with G5 cultural group, Wiki and Co. And all of a sudden now he says it. So nobody has any iota of confidence in them. So they need to. I expect that Tanimu Fragi should be able to, as a senior advocate of Nigeria, should be able to come up with strategies to galvanize all these interest groups into one direction. But I also overheard him saying they are open to alliance and association, which I think will help them a lot if they go that way.
All right. Is the People's Democratic Party afraid of internal reforms that might push out entrenched interests?
I missed that. I didn't get that, please.
Is the People's Democratic Party are they afraid of internal reforms that might push out entrenched interests?
Yes, definitely. That's the problem with politicians mostly. You see, we have not built systems. We build individuals. And that is why you are afraid. If you build systems that will cater for everybody, you don't need to be afraid. It's just like you being in the civil service. If you are in the civil service and you build a good working pension scheme, when it is time to retire, you don't need to go and panabit your age not to retire because you are afraid of what will happen after retirement. You build system. They deliberately undermine the system. They deliberately make it ungovernable for themselves. So they think that when I'm out, because of what they did, impositions, change of results, and so on and so forth, you see one person sitting somewhere in another place because he's a member of the National ESCO, he will frustrate the whole state. So that is the problem. So they need to. I expect that Tanimu Fragi, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, meaning he's a senior man on the bench, should be able to correct some of these anomalies and then make the party a more democratic party instead of where one person. And that was obtained, and that's what made the likes of Wike very strong in the party, because they were influencing things. Because the ESCOs were there. Look at all the national chairmen that were brought. Mostly were those brought by Wike, and at the end of the day, he fought all of them. So how do you allow a party like that to be taken over by one person or two people just because of certain benefits that you get from that person. You don't do that. When you allow a system to be run at the whims and caprice of an individual or a group of people, then automatically those individuals will perpetuate themselves. They will perpetuate their interests. But allow for open competition. Even the Tenum track you are talking about, look at what happened between him and Sule Lamido. Sule Lamido said he went to purchase farm and he was not allowed to purchase farm. Why do you close up the space? Anybody that wants to contest, let him come. Then let the delegates go and vote. When they vote, people know that they came with the mandate of the people, and that is how they will respect the institutions. But where you manipulate things in your favor, tomorrow another person might come and it will not favor you. And that's why you see that there's this challenge of transition. Anytime they are about to transit from one person to the other, there are crises every here and there. So I expect Tanimu Traiki to effect some of these changes as if he successfully takes over.
All right. The People's Democratic Party is still on the PDP issue, since we're talking about politics, political party, all right? The People's Democratic Party has recently struggled to speak with one voice on national issues. What does this say about the strength of its national leadership?
It only tells you that the party is weak. It only tells you that the party is weak, and if the care is not taken, the party is dying. That's just it. Where you cannot speak with one voice, you cannot be able to send a signal, you cannot be able to correct your members, you begin to fight, you begin to slap each other. It only tells you that the system is weakened.
All right, before I let you go, what else, do you have anything to say, like an advice or parting words?
I will not advise them, because these are people that have also done a lot of, they have been in the system for long. They know the right thing to do, but selfishness will not allow them to do it. So what do you tell a selfish person? Anytime you want to tell him to do the right thing, if he does not promote his interest, he might not listen to you. He will see you as an enemy. So the best thing is to allow them to continue fighting. When they finish fighting and they are tired, they will sit down and reason. But for now, Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are looking up to all the political parties to make impact. We are more bothered about security. We are bothered about development. We are bothered about infrastructure. We are bothered about so many other things instead of focusing on the PDP issues of selfish interest and aggrandizement. That's it.
All right. If you're given the opportunity to choose a political party, would you go back to People's Democratic Party or you go to another party?
Sorry, I missed that.
If you as a person now is given the opportunity to choose among any of the political parties in Nigeria we have, would you still prefer the People's Democratic Party?
I've left the PDP. What I'm saying now is from a position of a neutral player, but I have a lot of people I have respect for in PDP. I have a lot of people I have respect for in APC. I have a lot of people I have respect for in ADC and SDP. So I'm focusing my attention on candidates, because the era of partisan, full 100% party is, I don't think it has helped us much. Anywhere I see a good candidate, like in the last election, local government election in Niger, I saw one good candidate and he won. So I'm not bothered. I'm not too keen about any partisan thing. I'm keen about people delivering results. If you are in APC and you are delivering results and you are able to link up to me and explain some of the things you are doing, fine. We'll definitely, at the end of the day, our movement will likely work with parties. We might also run for elections, but then it is it's too early for us to now decide where we're heading to. But we are talking with a lot of people. All the parties, we are open to discussion. In fact, so many big wigs from APC have also spoken to me, and we are considering a lot of things, but we have left PDP.
All right, thank you very much, Yahaya Muhammad Saibaba, for these wonderful insights. Thank you for having, I seriously want to appreciate you for coming on to the program today, for speaking to us. I say a very big thank you. I hope we'll have time to talk more next time.
Thank you very much, Sadia. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, my pleasure. The future of PDP and indeed Nigerians' border political landscape depends on whether parties can reinvent themselves, rebuild trust, and offer Nigerians something beyond the rhetoric. We'll continue to follow how these dynamics unfold, and then, of course, talking about politics. That has been the size of the package for political discussion with Muhammad YAHAYA. We just wish all the political parties in Nigeria all the very best, and the PDP most especially. We pray they resolve their internal crisis. All right, my name is Sadia Yakubu YAHAYA. Stay tuned as we go on.